Okay, hi Ann. I just thought that this would be maybe one of the easiest ways to get you started with Photoshop training. I don't know how much you already know, so maybe I might be going over things that you already know. Okay, so we've got your Cougar image opened up, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did to just bring up the light values on this and just get rid of just a minor color cast that was in this picture. The first thing I always do with every image in Photoshop is I at least copy the background copy once. So I always have the original so I don't have to close it. So in the layers palette down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the keyboard, go Control J, and that automatically creates a new layer. If I were to do something to this layer that I didn't like after, then I can always, as you can see, I can turn it off. I can drag and drop and throw the image out, and I'm back to my original copy. So I'm going to go Control J again so that I've got that copy. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and I'm going to click on this icon, which is the Create New Fill or Adjustment layer. And I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go up to Curves and click on Curves. If this happens to come across your window, I mean, you can drag it around and put it where it's easiest to see. Sometimes what I do too, in this case I'm not going to, but if you wanted to enlarge the picture or bring it down, you press the Control key and use the plus on the keyboard, which is going to enlarge your photo, or Control minus, and that brings my photo back down. Now ideally, auto worked very well with this actually. It just needed, I felt, just a little bit of a raise, so I raised it in the center. But let's go to the Alt key on your keyboard, and it changes this to reset, so you don't have to keep closing and starting and canceling and throwing it out or whatever. And if I did this manually, I'm going to pull up on the center, and what you're trying to do is, generally rule of thumb is to create like a sort of like a lazy S in this. So if you happen to use the auto button and you didn't really care for it, you could always just go to reset and then do it manually. Anyway, I still liked, I think, the auto version better because it actually took that color cast out, and I'm not that advanced at it yet to know how to do that. So I find other ways to sort of cheat on that. So I'm going to bring up the center, just adjust from what it had in auto a little bit, and bring this down a little bit, and then I can preview on, off, and then click OK. Now, what this does is when they have a layer and you have this box that's locked like this is a mask that's over this. If I were to take the, and let me put, I've chosen the brush. So it's always, when you're using masks, you always use black and white. If I use the bracket keys on the keyboard, I can make my with my brush size larger and then smaller. So just these little shortcuts always help instead of just going up here and changing your brush diameter in here all the time. If I were to, let's make this with that Control minus smaller. If I were to just paint over the entire thing in black, which you'll see the black over here, I've now brought my image back to the original. Nothing is maxed. So let me go back and undo what I did in the history. And let's bring this little kitty back up again. And the one thing I noticed when I did that was that up here, just above his head, it just looked a little bit maybe over processed, or it's just a little bit too highlighted for my liking. But I don't want to bring it down as much right back to the beginning. So I'm going to change the opacity to, let's say, around, I don't know, somewhere below 50%, between 30 and 40%. And I've still got that black, and what I'll do is just sort of bring my brush up. And I'm using, by the way, a soft brush. So bring your hardness down on your brush. I always find it better to work that way because then it's not going to make a definite big circle on this cat's forehead. And I'm just going to click it once. And as you can see, it just sort of brings down that level just a little bit. If I click it again, and then I can just click this on and off, and have it for my liking. Now, the other thing I can do, let me just bring this picture down, is as far as changing the level. Sometimes I just want to add just a little bit of pizzazz to my picture. We'll go into levels further in some other tutorial, but a quick way is if you bring up the levels. I should have showed you how I did that. Okay, so I went to that same layer adjustment, and above curves I went to levels. I was never the best of instructors. And I just ever so slightly bring this up. So if I preview, you can see it. It just gives it a little bit of vibrance, gives a little bit of punch to that picture. And then I click OK. So now I've got these 4 layers, and I want to compress them so that now I can save this image. So I'm going to go Control Shift and then E. And now I've flattened all images, and that will all flatten all visible images. See, it says Merge Visible. If I had, say, the curves layer turned off, and I'd gone Control Shift E, then it would have left that particular one. It's not going to be included in the saved file. It's okay. We've got everything clicked off. Control Shift E, and then I'm going to go File. I'm going to go Save As, and usually it's because I've been messing around. It'll say ICC Profile. I always unclick this because I find that it makes it very contrasty. So that's your original file name. I just always add any letter in behind it. I'll say Save. I want to choose the maximum file size, and I always choose Progressive Scan, and I choose 5 scans, and then I click OK, and now my file is, well, it's saving, and it's all saved. Okay, that's your first tutorial. Hope that works out for you. You can always use the pause button and just try it out yourself. Okay, talk to you later.